Recorded Books presents The Grift, the Downward Spiral of Black Republicans from the Party of Lincoln to the Cult of Trump by Clay Kane, narrated by the author. Introduction. A quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Every minority and every people has its share of opportunists, traitors, freeloaders, and escapists. What is the grift? A grifter, technically, is a con artist or a scammer. In other words, a hustler or a sellout. I define grifters as opportunists who shape-shift for personal gain to achieve proximity to power. Yes, there are grifters of every background in all political parties, but the Black Republican grift is on an insidious rise. In the days after the Civil War, being a Black Republican meant something vastly different than today. The pillars of Black Republicanism were a balanced critique of both political parties, civil rights for all Americans, reinventing an economy based on exploitation, and, most importantly, building thriving Black communities. Contrary to today's historical myth-making, President Abraham Lincoln and the Republican Party weren't steadfast supporters of Black Americans. It was visionaries like Frederick Douglass, a formerly enslaved person, who disrupted the Grand Old Party, GOP, to achieve important victories for Black citizens. Over time, the relentlessness of white supremacy and early prototypes of grifters unwound those victories. Political parties shifted. Once the party of enslavers, the Democratic Party, became the home of progressive reforms, and the Republican Party embraced bigotry. All the while, the Black Republican grift deepened, growing more sinister. Today, a pernicious strain of Black Republicans has seized influence by disregarding the interests of Black voters for their advancement. The evolution of Black Republicans from the Party of Lincoln to the cult of Trump and their journey through emancipation, Reconstruction, segregation, integration, and to today are the subject of this book. Is every Black Republican created equal? No, and not all Black Republicans are grifters. Colin Powell, a four-star U.S. Army general, spoke the truth about racism in the GOP, even when it hurt his political career. Many of the Black Republicans during President Richard Nixon's era were sincerely invested in positive change for Black communities and denounced white Republicans when promises weren't kept. Others are more complicated, and their trajectories are unique, like Madam Secretary Condoleezza Rice, an accomplished scholar, a former provost at Stanford University, who, like Powell, led American foreign policy at the highest level. But arguably, Rice contributed to the downward spiral of Black Republicanism by being an apologist for the GOP. This is not to say Black people do not hold conservative views, regardless of their political party. While I may use conservative and Republican interchangeably, I have no intention of settling the debate over what it means to be a conservative. Many argue that although Powell was a Republican, he was not a true conservative. Others will say his temperament may not be typical of a hard-line conservative. When it came to the issues of the 1990s, like opposing President Bill Clinton, lifting the ban on gay people in the military, or leading the first war against Iraq, he was most definitely conservative. Even so, this is not a book about Black voters. I am not examining Black voters who own guns, express concerns about
Sample complete. Ready to continue?